Hello. Welcome to season 2, episode 10 of Rewind with Ro. I'm your host, Ro Carter. My man over there, my co-host
Smith.
Okay, there he is in the house. We're doing a little black on black.
You know,
good tonight.
It slims you down.
Hey, man. Hey. How you been, brother?
I've been good. You know, I try to bring a positive vibe and a positive outlook to life. I'm not going to say everything's good. Everything is good. I'm in a good space. I'm happy.
There you go. I feel like America is slowly becoming Gotham City.
I think we're already, it's not slowly, it like quickly.
The places you didn't think would become Gotham City, like, oh, wow. Yeah,
it's like, what is happening?
Gotta be careful. So normally what we do is do a little catch up, and then we go to some news stuff, and then we go into the topic of today, which is the movie Missing, which came out in January 2023, starring Nia Long and Storm Reid. It's a great thriller, so I'm going to get to that in a second. But catching up on some things, this one's tough. I got a couple of topics. Jonathan Majors. So other people have come out and said this is his MO. So I don't want to go into his. I'm just so disappointed. I pray. This is all messed up, but it does not look good for him. And this guy, I mean, I'm not going to put him as bad as Kevin Spacey, but what I'm comparing him to his acting chops is like Kevin, like he's on that level. Like he's just. The future of him, like just, I was looking forward to seeing him in some more films. And so now I'm just like, can we forgive? Of course. But I'm just like, I hope just everything can be worked out and he can just become the new man that he needs to become.
You know, I think I mentioned this when we previously talked about this Jonathan Majors situation. And I am still at a place where I'm like, I'm not going to prejudge anything until I have all the facts laid out in front of me, because of course we always say people should be given the opportunity to be proven, to be, assumed innocent until proven guilty. And unfortunately, with the rise of cancel culture, which, predominantly affects people of color, in my opinion, it's gotten to a point where the canceling of him took place before he even spoke, before there was even like any evidence laid out before him. So again, when the whole conversation first started, the Army immediately dropped the second campaign that they were supposed to with him. And then now, before there's any kind of conversation to further his story or the story of the alleged victims, he's lost his management team. He's lost his PR team. They're now in talks to remove him from a Marvel film. It's like, so he's guilty is basically what we're saying. He's guilty. There's not even a conversation around it. Now, I'm not condoning domestic violence in any way, but I am saying people should not be put in a position to be framed in the public eye as guilty before they've had an opportunity to even have a case presented before them. So I'm going to give an example for me. I had a friend in college who caught feelings for me. I wasn't into her the same way. We got into a heated argument one night and she tried to stab me. And when she attempted to stab me, I restrained her to prevent loss of my life. And her response was, I'm going to call the police and say that you assaulted me. Now, in that circumstance, like I would have looked guilty, but she literally grabbed a weapon and tried to stab me. And I had to protect my space by constraining her physically. I had to hold her arms until she dropped the knife. So it's like, I understand that there's a circumstance where he may have done it. And if he did, he should be punished and he should lose everything. But I also think there is a circumstance where people should be given an opportunity to prove their innocence before the public, before their partners, before everyone just publicly makes them guilty. Like this is awful. Like it's awful. And like you said, he's so talented. And I was so excited to see what more was to come from him. And it would be a shame if it turns out that all of this is just fabricated. because it'll be something that sticks with him for the rest of his life. So, you know, I just think, again, we should give the man the opportunity to have everything laid out in front of him to prove his innocence before we just assume he's guilty and tell the world he is.
All right. Well, moving right along. Watch the flip I do on this. So the other big thing in the news this week is that Fox paid out New Dominion $787 million for defamation. And now this is great to your point, right? We see now Fox is not, and again, this is just my views. It's not Black Films, but I love this case for so many reasons. It goes to what you just said, right? Guilty before proven innocent, innocent before proven guilty. Fox is still not guilty, right? I think Fox got away with murder, even though it almost cost them $1 billion, but they never had to admit that they were guilty. They said all this slander about the voting booths were wrong, they were rigged, all this other stuff, and we found out it wasn't true at all. And they paid $787 million. And so my big thing out of this case is like, an opportunity to get our democracy back, and we didn't do it. And you see, at the end of the day, it's all about the money. And so we got paid. Hey, I don't care what Fox is going to do after that. I just hope we get paid. So I think a big opportunity was missed. But to go to what you said before, it's like it depends who you are, what control you have before they're like, well, you know, it didn't happen. We want to hear everything out first before the statement is made. So interesting case. I don't know what you think about that.
I am extremely disappointed that it was a part of the terms that they didn't have to admit to their audience base that they fabricated all of these supposed truths. And the biggest issue I have is their audience base is going to continue to walk around believing that the things that they spouted were true. And it's unfortunate for the American public. It's unfortunate for the global public. It's unfortunate for their viewing audience because their viewing audience is going to continue to be misled. Mm-hmm. So it's just, it's upsetting. It's upsetting. And I get that they wanted the financial settlement, but I also think that there needed to be some kind of responsibility taken on behalf of the network for the mistakes that they made from the perspective of putting out false news. And, you know, I think the only benefit that did come from it is all of the discovery that was done in the case where they found, actually found text messages and emails and conversations between all of these news anchors who very, very adamantly discussed their disdain for former President Trump and for all the lies they were spouting. And they were just continuing to tell the lie to hold on to their audience base. So allegedly, but you know, it's disappointing.
Highly disappointing. All right. So moving right along. Last thing, more shooting in America. I'm just going to make my stuff short and sweet. Man, we need to wake up. I mean, it's hitting everybody, no matter what color you are. It's affecting everybody. We really, whether you're old, young, in between, male, female, transgender, whatever it is, whoever you represent, it is affecting everybody. You know, everybody lives in this country. So we really need to have a deep conversation, especially going into new elections, and just really talk about, hey, you know, what do we want the future of America to be? You know, so that's my opinion on that. If you have anything to say, if not, we can move right along.
I do. I have to say, like, I'm very happy that Ralph Yarl is now walking around and home and alive and healthy. I feel like my mic is echoing in a weird way, but I'm very happy that he's back with his family. But I'm disappointed that people aren't having a greater conversation about the issue. And not only was he the victim of gun violence, there was also another young white lady who was in the car with 3 of her friends. They pulled into a driveway last weekend, and the owner of the house, I think it was also upstate New York, the owner of the house came out and just shot into the car because he feared for his life, and the young lady in the passenger seat was killed. And then now you have another case of 3 cheerleaders in Texas.
That story's crazy too.
Crazy. The girl goes she gets out of the car, goes and opens the door to the wrong car. There's someone in the car. She apologizes because she thought it looked the same as the car she was in. She gets in the car she's in. The guy gets out. She rolls the window down. He shoots into the car and shoots one of the girls in the back. And she's now lost her spleen. The girl has lived her whole life with one lung. She's a star cheerleader. It's like, come on, people. In all of these instances, where was the de-escalation of violence? Where was the person with the gun never even vocalize their fear or concern. They just start shooting. And in every instance, they're shooting at children. And these are adults shooting at children, and they have no ability to use their thoughts or their words to de-escalate a circumstance with a child. And for a grown man to open his front door and to immediately shoot through a glass screen, which means you were not in physical danger because you had a locked glass screen and door in front of you, for your immediate response to be, let me shoot this person in the head. And then your second response is to shoot them again in the arm when they're down. It's just like, you have no excuse. All of these people should be put under the jail. And we need to have a greater conversation about the issue. And we cannot continue to mask the conversation as mental illness. That's not the problem. We can't, but if we had greater gun regulation and reform, we could probably have a conversation about mental illness wrapped into that greater conversation, but no one wants to touch it. Well, there are people who do, and there are people who don't, and the people who don't are being lobbied by money. So that's my 2 cents.
America, everybody. Another day in America. All right, so let's have some fun.
Yes.
Right along. Move
to the good stuff.
So the movie I chose this week it's called Missing. Again, as I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, it was written by Will Merrick and Nick Johnson. This is their first feature directorial debut, so this is big for them. If you've seen the movie Searching, it was in 2018. This is a standalone sequel to that. So in Searching, the original one, it had all this technology. It was from one perspective, so everything on the screen. So I love that. This is very multifaceted, though. Only 3 different machines. You had your phone, you had your laptop, and then you had like a smartwatch. So basically everything we use today was the way they told the story. So I can't wait to hear what Rob said about that, if he enjoyed that or not. But anyway, the story is about a young girl named June, played by Storm Reid, who loses her beloved father at a young age and is raised by her now single mother called Grace, played by Nia Long. Without any other family, the mother disappears. She's dating a new guy, and her new boyfriend go on a trip to Colombia, of all places. And on that trip to Colombia, mom has disappeared. And so we spend the rest of the movie trying to find out what happened to mom. And we really learn like what technology can really do, all the good and bad of it. But I love that this movie takes you on a roller coaster ride. Like once you think you figured it out, oh my God, something else happened.
Yeah.
Now I got it. No, something else happened. So it was like, oh my God. So I love to hear what Rob's going to say about that too at the end. Did the ending justify the movie, or was it too much? They could have ended it like a half an hour earlier. But anyway, Rob, what do you think of the movie, and what do you think of the casting, which is big for me? Because the casting I have an opinion on, but I want to hear what you thought when you saw the movie.
Okay, perfect. Yes, I actually thoroughly enjoyed this film. And
there you go.
Yeah, and I think they did the film a disservice with the trailer, because the trailer doesn't give you the idea. And I think a good trailer gives you that like, it kind of gives you the trailer and the poster should give you an impression of what the middle portion of that movie is going to be, like what your experience is going to be. And I don't think it gave you that sense of like fear and excitement that the film actually gives, and suspense. So I think they could have done a better job promoting the film, but overall, I actually really loved it. I thought it was from top to bottom, I thought it was a great story. I thought the casting was great. I want to hear what you have to say. Of course, I love Storm Reid. I'm loving seeing her breaking.
Sure, right? To a young lady, she's like,
yes, she's so talented. I'm love seeing her break out in roles like in The Last of Us. I thought she was phenomenal, and here I think she's great. I'm loving seeing her journey outside of her success in Euphoria and other projects before, but I'm loving the direction her career is taking. And Nia Long, we just had this conversation when we
Can we give her a scene? Can we give her more acting? Like
yes, that's what we just talked about this with you people. We were like, we needed a little bit more Nia Long.
Can we get someone Nia Long? Is Nia Long too busy? So she's like, listen, man, here's a script I want to do. And Nia, tell her what's going on.
Let me write a script for Nia Long, because I want to see her more, because like this and you people, she wasn't on the screen that much, but I do love the energy and the essence she brought to this film. This is what I love about a good thriller. I want to be at the end of it going, I did not see that coming, and I did not see the twist of this film coming. I was like, literally, like you said, you were like, well, at that like hour and 30-minute point, were you like, it could have been over? No, I was actually like, where is this gonna go? Because I want to know what happened. And when the twist turns, I'm gonna tell you right now, my jaw hit the floor because I had no idea that was the thing. And they put the clues in front of you the whole movie.
Yeah.
You just never notice it. And I was like, when they re-showed it, I was like, oh my God, how did I not see that? Yeah, how did I not see that?
They're telling you the movie right in front of your face, by the way, people.
In front of your face.
When you watch it, it's like literally everybody, all the clues are there. There's some great spoiler alerts on YouTube where they give you all the Easter eggs. So if you're really into stuff like that, it's really great to just watch and see. I was like, oh my God, I missed that. And then I had to watch it again. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. The casting for me, everybody was great on screen, but I'll tell you something right now. And again, listen, I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not. Nia Long is never going to date Ken Leung.
That is not true. That is not true.
Kevin is not dating Nia Long in any world that we live in. It is not going to happen. I don't care.
That is not true.
It's not going to happen, player.
That's not true. See, I agree to disagree.
It's not going to happen. You had me at every other. Listen, she reached out to somebody in Colombia and gets them to do all this stuff. That's more believable than her dating that guy. Come on.
And you also said this about Lauren Lennon and Jonah Hill and You People. And I disagree. Like, people, everybody is not superficial, and it's great. There are people in this world who live outside of major metropolitans like LA, New York, Miami, Chicago, Atlanta. There are people who live outside of these, or places in Texas or Vegas, wherever. There are people who live outside of these, beauty-based cultures. And I'm telling you right now,
I don't say all that, Rob. I just.
Then for what reason do you think that this woman couldn't date this man? I see odd couples all the time. I see couples that I would never have assumed
Nia Long ain't dating him.
Would date
Nia Long, best man. Nia Long.
Well, she's not Nia Long in the movie.
She is Nia Long all the time. I don't care what anybody says. That's Nia Long 24/7.
She is not Nia Long in the movie. She is Grace in the movie. So Grace, I can see Grace.
I do Love Jones, I do Friday, and I do Best Man. And that's what I do when I see. And in all those movies, she ain't dating him ever.
I could see Grace dating Kevin in a world where that's a possibility.
You know what? But after finding out the treatment she's been in, yes, I could see her dating anybody. Yeah. So that is the only point. To the end of the movie, you're like, you know what? That makes sense now.
And I mean, we don't know
that dude. I couldn't even say.
But we don't even know who she was prior to her first relationship with what's Storm Reid's character's name? Junebug. We don't know her life before her relationship with Junebug's father, because I mean, there was toxicity there. There's toxicity.
Not to give it away at all. We're not going to give any spoilers here. Please check it out. So Storm Reid's dad, they show a scene earlier with her father and then is gone. And she's been told that her dad died. And then I think of a rare disease because they show some medical records and stuff like that, but they don't really explain it until later in the movie. And so you're in this like, okay. And so her and her mom are going through like, I'm a teenager. Mom, I hate you. I hate everything. Stay out of my life. I don't want you in my life at all. I'm a grown woman. I can be whoever I want to be. Leave me alone. And so, it's always one of those movies, right? Like, what happens now if you lost somebody the next day, and what was the last thing you said to them? How many times have we seen this over and over again, like a show, and then someone dies or something happens to somebody, and like, oh my God, what would I do? But then you see the loving daughter that she used to be come out and be like, I got to find my mom. I'll do anything I have to do to find my mom. And in doing so, all these other things come out, and you're like, what the hell? So the one thing I will give away, because I guess Nia Long's character, Grace, she winds up dating a guy who has a twisted past. And then we come to find out that this is the huge plot of the story, is finding out what's going on with him. Something's not right with him. And so we dig into his past, and then all these other stories unfold. So that was crazy. Have you ever met, and I meant to ask you this, have you ever like found out later that someone had some secret stuff? You're like, oh, wow, and you were like, you don't have to tell the story, but you can just say yes or no. It's up to you. So I don't want to pry some stuff. But
no, I don't have. Fortunately for me, I don't have any crazy dating stories.
Or secrets. Anybody have any secrets that you come out later like?
Oh, actually, yes, there is.
Well, there we go.
Yes, I just thought about. Yes, there is one situation that occurred, but it turned out for the better for me. A person was trying to put me in a circumstance where I caught something because they felt like it would be easier if we both just had this issue together. It's probably what you're thinking it is. And this was back in the day when that thing was a real problem. Yeah.
Well, there's two things, Rob, but I'll go with.
They tried to unfortunately give me a virus on purpose because they felt like it would be easier to just give it to me as opposed to like having to ask me, was it okay to be with them having it?
Yes.
So that was a scary situation.
That virus, not the other virus.
Yeah. So that was a scary situation, but that's the only crazy situation where I found out about something later. But luckily,
that's crazy, Rob. That's crazy.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Damn. All right. Well, my story was damn. That's. Whew.
I didn't mean to ruin your night, but
listen, man. I just don't even hang out with people like that anymore. Like, we're gonna play that game.
Crazy enough, I only found out because
I was hoping it was COVID. Like, hey, he wanted to give me COVID and hang out for the night. I was like, that doesn't seem too.
No, and the reason I found out is because another friend saw a picture of us together and was like, "Wait a minute, I think I know that person," and then sent me an article that was written. I was like, and I had to. It was a situation like this, and I'm Googling and searching and finding articles and putting 1 and 2 and 3 together. It was a lot.
Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. The second thing, it is 2023. You need to lock yourselves down right now. It's just a crazy time in life. Listen. That's all I can say at this point in life. Lock it down. You had a good run. Whoever you are out there, you had a good run. Love the one you're with. It's rough out there in these streets. That's my advice.
Love the one you're with.
It's rough out here in these streets. You don't know what can happen.
Keep it cute.
Anyway, I had a friend whose father came out in his 70s. 4 kids. Mom left the country. She was like, I'm out. She was like messed up for like 2 months.
Damn. I have sympathy on both sides.
50 years.
I have sympathy on both sides. That man had to live
in
hiding.
Inside, but 50 years? Whew. 4 kids? Come on, man.
Well, let him live his truth in his last years.
Of course, but I'm like, 4 kids?
He missed out on all the good years of living in his truth. Now he's 70. He can't rock out.
He's gonna have some fun, but it's gonna be different.
It's gonna be a little different.
Yeah, a little rough.
And she's going to do her eat, love, pray. Good on her. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's exactly what you did. Good. So anyway, getting back. Sorry, guys, we went all over the place here. A little rabbit hole. But that's what the movie does. It puts you in a rabbit hole. So anyway, Storm Reid's character, June Allen, her mom is lost in Colombia. So she's trying to find her in Colombia. So this is the genius of this film. And if you're really young kids, really in technology, she looks up a cleaner because she has a house party now because her mom left. And she's like, oh my God, I'm going to hire a cleaner in Colombia to go to the hotel where my mom is staying at and see if he can find anything. Now, shout out to this young man, Javier Ramos. He's been around forever. Getting older, but still got the look, still has the accent. He's still good. And so he's the guy who's going to help us out in Colombia. So you see it from his perspective. And I love, there's some little playful things, like he's older. So he's like, I don't have FaceTime, but hit me up on WhatsApp and all these different things. And then he's giving her ideas. And then she's only paying $10 per hour. Like she's getting a private detective for $10 an hour because she's paying him cost to rent him out in Colombia. And so that was a crazy, I was like, oh my God. And leading up to question you, Rob, if you were in a similar, not too crazy situation, but someone you lost, would you even think outside the box like that? I was like, wow, that was brilliant.
That is a great question because watching this film, literally, I was sitting there going, if I was in a situation, would I
Right?
have thought to do that? And it was so smart. A lot of the things that she does could really be done.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there going, I don't know if I would have been clever enough to figure that out. And now that I've watched it, I'm like taking notes just in case
Oh
I
yeah.
get
Oh
put in
yeah.
a crazy circumstance.
My girlfriend was like, that's how I stalked you. I was like, oh, there you go. Like,
Good on her. I'm glad she's
fellas,
living in
fellas,
her truth.
there are women doing stuff like that every day.
I'm
Yeah,
glad she's living in her truth. And you know
yeah.
what? Go for what you want.
I was like, what the heck? What is going on? Like, oh, that's normal. That's normal. I did that when I met you. What? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, but that was one of the parts I enjoyed most too about this film. Like you said, in the I don't know if the original film that this was kind of a spinoff to, right?
Yeah.
But I loved the fact that we spend a lot of time engaged in the technology. So we're like reading the emails, we're reading the text messages, we're engaged in the correspondence of the technology that she's relating to. And I also loved that they intertwined the relationship of the people who were older and with technology, and then the people who were younger with technology, and how they utilize it differently. But still, even she's even influenced later by the limited use of older people and their experience with technology to figure things out. Like she goes, oh, wait a minute, like I could do that. So, I thought it was a great play on all of those relationships with tech. And I really thoroughly enjoyed the way they intertwined it into the
So
film.
you did appreciate that. It did add to the film. It didn't take away from it.
It absolutely added to the film. And I think I think that was a necessary component. And because we got to live the experience through Junebug. And it wasn't just us watching over her shoulder. It was as if we were kind of interacting and living the experience as her. So we got to kind of bounce between, being in that experience with her and then kind of watching over her shoulder. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved it. I thought it was perfectly done.
I also felt like Junebug was the better detective than the FBI. And look, I'm like,
she's like, I don't have no red tape.
Yeah, and so that's what's interesting, right? The legal side of it, right? If we find and do it the way you're doing it, then nothing can be held up in court, right? If we get somebody then, but they were thinking about it's a missing person, right? So what's your time frame?
Exactly.
Especially in another country, it's like, come on. And there's a point she's like, oh, she calls the hotel and they erase the film within 48 hours. So she literally has 48 hours. She has to send a request form in, and she's technically not the adult, right? So it's like all this stuff that culminates after a while, and you're just like, what the hell? Like, what would you do? Right. And some people don't have the luxury to get on a plane and finding and also not speaking the language and all that stuff. So it's very interesting to see the spin on how she handled that. And I don't know if all of us would be capable, if anybody, let alone me, would be capable to do that. When pressure's on you, like you have 48 hours, what would you be able to do in 48 hours to find your significant other, or a loved one, in another country? I got lost in I was in Germany and I wound up in Russia. Let me tell you, I lost. Yeah, everybody laughs on it, but I lost my passport. Let me tell you something, man. Just doing that was crazy, and just finding a way to get back home was crazy. So it's like all those things we got to really think of the cuff and think in the time frame, like things being open on different hours in different places, right? So if you're in a time change, like that's different time zone, that changes everything, especially if it's 4, 5, or 8, 10 hours. That changes your whole half a day of what you can do because you have to wait for other things to be open. So that's a whole nother mind thing. So my brain was like all over the place, but I loved it. Any else I have a question? So what I asked early in the beginning of it, did you feel the ending was forced or did it fit the narrative of how the story was going?
Absolutely not.
We found out all this other stuff, but then the ending it was like, wait a minute, wait, what?
No, absolutely not. I thought it was great. I thought they did a phenomenal job with this story. I don't, unlike the show that we talked about previously, I'm going to go back to that, right? So while I loved the first half of Swarm, my disappointment was in the ending, right? And the ending was not justified because it wasn't justified because the character who you're following through the entire film, they learn nothing the entire film, and then they win the experience, so it feels unfulfilled for the viewer. So it felt unjustified, right? So to me, she had an opportunity. She had 7 episodes of ample opportunities to learn what she was doing wrong and correct the issue that would have made her win and get what she wants in the end.
Yeah.
She doesn't learn it and she gets it anyway. So it doesn't make sense, and it's like it doesn't work. But with this film, we watched the journey of June, and June, she figures out the rhythm of what needs to take place, and then the payoff works. And the payoff is so great for us because they've set it up for us from the beginning.
Yeah.
They've set up this relationship with technology. They've set up this relationship with her mother. They've set up her mother's inability to use technology. They set up her knowledge of using technology. And then the culmination of all of those at the end is she learns to connect with her mother in order to save them.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, that was the biggest part, is that that family came together at the end, right? And just
yes,
to find, hey, my goal is to find my mom. I don't care what we've had, our differences at the end. And then that guilt factor too, right? Of like, how did we leave off on? You know, and that's a reminder, right? You always those classic films where like someone died the next day and you left off in an argument, and you always might say, hey, I love you regardless. Even though you pissed me off, I still gotta remember that I love you at the end of the day, because I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring, right? You just don't know that. So I love that. I love this part of the movie, all that energy of that. That was well done. Technology on the screen. I mean, some people like it was just too much, but I really loved that it kept you in the movie. You felt like you were a character in the movie. You know, you were stepped into their shoes. So that was brilliantly done. Rob, to close the show out, what would you rate the show, Rob? What would you rate the movie, Rob? Let's hear this one. Come on, Rob.
Bro, you just like to set me up. You just like to set me up because you want.
You know.
You know, I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna give this a solid 10 out of 10. I want people to go see it. I thought it was cleverly executed from the use of technology interwoven into the story. I thought the story from the beginning to the middle to the end was cleverly written, and it was very well connected. There was never a point where I was suspended from belief because I thought like this wouldn't work. I was highly invested in every single character. I thought Storm Reid and Nia Long and Ken, what's his name? Ken Long, who from Industry. I thought they all gave phenomenal performances. I can't find a space to say where something fell short for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, Ken Long. That's where I felt. That's where it fell short for me.
You just wanted it to be you, Ro.
No. Hey, brother. Hey. Let's say another hit. Yeah. So anyway, no, because Ken's always plays those characters where he's just like a badass, right? Or he's just very like mean and aggressive. And so it was so weird to see him like heartfelt and caring and charismatic, right? So that's definitely threw me off to see him in that. And then I was like, and then Nia Long, I was like, all right, okay. But anyway, I'm gonna give it an 8. Yeah, I don't give 10s out here.
So where are you docking it? I'd like to know.
I told you I'm docking it. I'm docking on the casting of, again, you could have gave many other role, but not that one. I would have gave the other brother who was the FBI agent. I would have gave him a better chance. Again, you know.
Well, I mean, yeah. Again, you just want to just put the like highly pretty person with the highly pretty person. Like that's not always real life.
I'm not doing that. I'm based on personalities only.
I think they did a good job of justifying personality when we get a whole maybe 10 minutes of personality and justification of that relationship. And that's why, again, I think the writers did a great job of knowing that was probably going to be a hurdle for some viewers. And they really helped justify the choice of that relationship by letting us understand the intricacies of Kevin and what's her name, Grace,
yeah.
and Grace's relationship based on us getting to see him courting her. So we got to see that whole experience.
You know what? I apologize. You're right. You know why you're right? I just remember this story. When I was younger, I worked for a high-end fitness gym, and Nia Long was a member of the gym. And she used to date Stephon Marbury back in the day. And in the hallway, when you leave the gym to go to the other building, there's a connection hallway. And I had to get cash out of the ATM. So the ATM's at the end of this hallway. So I'm literally behind, and this is like Stephon Marbury, like playing for the Knicks, like big. This is Nia Long coming out of the Love, like they're both like huge. And I listened to Stephon Marbury talk to Nia Long, and I was like, oh my God. And he was like, yo, you want to like go shopping or something? And I was like, oh my God, she was in Love Jones. Like, please. Oh, I'm talking. No, seriously, Nia, just turn around, baby girl. Stop it. Nonsense. These basketball players. I'm just saying. So anyway, I digress.
And I also know her ex-husband, so
I ain't even going there. The point is, things are happening, and I knew at that point. So maybe she would date him. Maybe she would date him.
I mean, in life,
yeah.
Do we always end up with the perfect pretty one? And is that always the best match for us? Who knows? No,
you again find the person that makes you feel good inside.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
Because again, we all gonna get ugly at some point. Just hey, I tell you all the time. We all listen, looks only last what 10, 20 years?
Unless you got a good doctor. It
like
might last a little longer.
There's like 5 people with good doctors that still look good. Dolly Parton is one of them. But there's like 5 people. Everybody else just looks like, hey, how you doing? What's up? Hey, it's I'm just saying, Rob.
I'm not gonna name no names, but there's some people doing good out there with a couple
black don't crack, but when it gets to like 75, 80, it kind of melts.
It can roll downhill real fast.
It kind of we age around 75, 80. You're like, oh man, hey, what happened? My face fell off. Just fell off.
I'm not too far from there, so
I almost got banned out of the family. Anyway, I ran into an old family member. I didn't even recognize her. She was like, "Hey," and she grabbed me. I was like,
"Do I know you?"
I was like, "Who are you?" The whole face changed. I was like, "Who the hell is that?" They was like, "That's your."
She just gotta get a little.
No, that was your so and so, and I was like, "Did she morph into a different person?" I was like, what? You gotta give me a warning or something. I need a new card. When you have a family get together, I need a new card and update how everybody looks.
Bro, you can't be waving off your elderly family members.
No, I didn't wave her up, but you don't grab me like you know me like that. About if your face has changed, come on, man.
I'm just glad you didn't tip her over, bro, because that's what it
is. I would never do that. But hey, get off with Denzel.
I can't. I can't.
Anyway, that's our show tonight. Thank you so much, everybody. Next week we are I can't even pronounce it. I've said it a million times. We're gonna try to do it. Chevalier.
Oh, I forgot we're doing that.
How do you pronounce it again? Chevalier.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll have it right by then.
Violinist, we're going in next week. We're going to get it right. I'm gonna get it right for you next week, people.
Did you get to interview him? What happened?
No, I'm gonna talk to Koku. Koku did. It was in New York. I couldn't make it.
Oh, did she go?
She said she went. So I'll ask her. Coco. Anyway, thank you to our Black Film family. Thank you, Rob. Always a pleasure. Thank you for our people tuning in tonight. Special time. Sorry. I have some family in town, so I have to do some family games, dinner, kids running around, all that fun stuff. So anyway, thank you. Tune in next week. We're gonna have some fun. Maybe I'll do like a little thing. Oh man, in a wig.
We gotta dress fancy.
We're gonna dress fancy next week for Chevalier.
I have a violin.
Chevalier? I think it's Chevalier or Chevalier. It's Chevalier. I think it's Chevalier. Don't quote me on that. I think it's Chevalier.
I'm gonna bring my violin.
All right. You ain't got no violin.
I do.
You got violin?
Yes.
I had a cello.
I'm gonna get it tuned.
I got a keyboard over here, make it like a piano. We could do like. Okay. Anyway, we're done.
We're cultured, bro. We're cultured.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, don't judge. Just be. Anyway, that's our show tonight. Thank you all again for tuning in. See you next week, and we're out.